Hello students, welcome to all of you in your chemistry class. Today we are going to start with our next unit of chemistry, that is the second unit, structure of atom. As you have already learned about the structure of the atom in your ninth class, that atom consists of nucleus in its center which contains protons and neutrons, and electrons are revolving in the particular shells. How this theory was discovered? So in this chapter we have to learn about all these things. Clear? So let's start. The atomic theory of matter was first proposed by John Dalton, called Dalton's atomic theory, and the theory of Dalton's nearly believed about 17 or 80 years, that in which atom is regarded as the ultimate particle of the matter. Means atom doesn't consist of any subparticles. Atom as a single is regarded as a ultimate particle of matter. Clear? But however, discoveries towards the end of 19th and early 20th century showed that atom consists of subatomic particles. Which kind of subatomic particles? That are electron, proton and neutrons. Electrons that are revolving in the shells carry negative charge, and protons carry positive charge, and neutrons are neutral, not going to carry any charge. Clear? So how these particles are discovered? Let's start with the discovery of the electron. The electrons was discovered during the studies of the passage of electricity through gases at extremely low pressure with the help of experiments. Clear? The passage of electricity is observed through the gases at extremely low pressure with the help of the experiments. These experiments were known as discharge tube experiments, because these are done with the help of the discharge tube, as you can see in this figure. Clear? And cathode ray tube is made up of glass which is cylindrical in shape. This tube, clear, that is cylindrical in shape and contains two pieces of metals sealed in it, called electrodes. Here you can see this is the first piece of metal known as cathode, which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and carry negative charge. And on the other side you can see the electrode, that is the anode, which carries positive charge and connected to the positive terminal of a battery. Clear? So the tube is connected to the side tube, so the pressure of the different gases could be adjusted by the evacuation with the help of a vacuum pump. Here this tube is connected to a side tube which will going to have a vacuum pump that is used to adjust the pressure for different gases. Clear? So we have to at least set the low pressure so that gas can conduct the electricity from one terminal to the another, or from one electrode to the another. Then after filling the discharge tube with the gas, two electrodes are connected to a high voltage source. Here in between you have to take gas molecules which will going to conduct the electricity on applying the high voltage. Clear? So then two electrodes are connected to a high voltage source. Then in sufficiently high voltage the gases become good conductor of electricity and current starts flowing in the form of the rays. These rays are called cathode rays. When high voltage is applied across the ends of the tube or across the ends of the electrodes. Then current starts flowing through the gas in the form of the rays, like that, and current flows in a straight line or in the form of a stream of particles. Clear? And how one could observe that current is flowing in a straight line or electrons are moving in a straight line while on applying the high voltage or high current? So these rays moving from negative electrode cathode to the positive electrode anode. The flow of the current from cathode to anode in the form of the stream of particle was further checked by making a hole in the anode and coating the tube behind the anode with the fluorescent material, that is zinc sulfide. So to check the flow of the current, here some holes are created in the anode, means the electrode that we are using at anode, holes are created in this electrode. We can see that perforated electrode is used as a anode, and we are also coating the tube behind the anode with the fluorescent material, that is zinc sulfide, so that when these rays are going to hit at the end of the tube, that coated area will start glowing, from where we can get idea that the direction of the flow of the current is from cathode to the anode side. Clear? As you can see that this portion, that portion will start glowing, that is the coated portion, and the coating is done with the fluorescent material or phosphorescent material. Best example is zinc sulfide. Why this is used? Because fluorescent material starts glowing when something hit upon it, or when streak of light or streak of rays hit it, it will start glowing. Clear? So that's why we are using this kind of material. When these rays, after passing through the anode, strike the zinc sulfide coating, a bright spot on the coating is developed. So with the help of the diagram, you can see that how current is flowing under the application of the high voltage from anode to cathode side, when we have created the holes in the anode and we have coated the end behind the anode with the fluorescent materials. We can easily observe the direction of the flow of the current through the discharge tube. Clear? And next, properties of cathode rays. The cathode rays are the negatively charged rays, and in the absence of electric or magnetic field, rays traveled in a straight line. The direction of flow of the electrons or negatively charged particles in the absence of magnetic field will be in the straight line, as you can see it from here, that on the point where we have applied magnetic field or electric charges, there is the deflection in the path of the rays of light. But before applying any field, you can see that the path followed by a ray of light is absolutely a straight. Clear? So we can say that in the absence of electric and magnetic field, the rays travel in a straight line. In the presence of electrical and magnetic field, the cathode rays behaves in a similar manner as expected in case of negatively charged ions, which indicates that these rays consist of negatively charged particles called electrons. Clear? Because of the behavior of these rays that is similar to the electrons as negative charge can move towards the positive charge in a similar manner. If these rays are moving from negative to positive terminal, that it indicates that it will going to have negatively charged particles that are electrons. And characteristics of the cathode rays do not depend upon the material of the electrode and nature of the gas present in the tube. What is the reason? Because the ratio of charge to mass, that is charge upon mass, is same for all the cathode rays irrespective of the gas used in the tube. When cathode rays are allowed to strike a thin metal foil, it gets heat up. Thus cathode rays possesses the heating effect. It can also have the rotating effect. It can rotate the wheel if it comes in its path because of the high charge that it will going to have because of the high voltage that is supplied with the help of the external source of a battery. Clear? So the rays themselves are not visible, but their behavior is observed with the help of the certain kind of material, that is fluorescent or phosphorescent material, which glows when it hit by them. Clear? So in this lecture we have learnt about the structure of we have started the unit structure of atom, and under this unit we have covered the topic that is the study or discovery of electrons, and initially we have also discussed about the subatomic particles, that is electron, proton and neutron, and afterwards how these subatomic particles are discovered. Firstly we have seen the discovery of electron, that electrons are discovered with the help of the discharge tube experiments. I hope you all have understood the topic, and if any doubt is there, then you can clear your doubts by asking your questions to me anytime. Thanks.